Welcome back to What Drives You. And this is Carl Bauer, one of your hosts. I have a little golf hat on from my little vacay. And I'm just happy to be back. And I know we did a little episode from down in Mexico way, but we're back in the beautiful, almost beautiful state because spring is sprung here in Chicago area. So thank you again for joining us. And today, including today, I won the lottery. You want to know how I won the lottery? I got a good story for you. So just trying to remember how many years ago, let's just call it 10 to 12 years ago, I was preparing for work. It was April 1st of that particular year. And I was preparing for work, up early, showered, shaved. I was a VP of sales and marketing. And I was heading into our office, which was on the top floor, amazing facility in Oak Brook Terrace. And if any of you live in the western suburbs, that one tower in Oak Brook Terrace, that was it. It was so high up, I had a literal hawk's nest right outside my window, and they just had the scope of the world. I could see downtown Chicago on clear days, just an amazing place. But it was a headache, and it was a lot of traffic and a pain in the butt to get there. And I was always racing the clock because I couldn't control traffic. And it was just, depending on an accident, you had to get off this funky road. If any of you have been over there off of 355, you take Elmhurst Road and all those stoplights, you know how that is going into Oak Brook Terrace. Anywho, I got to work on time, and one of the partners called me into the big conference room, and we shared an office space with a company called Social Dealer that's still around, founded by a few people, but one of the main people is a guy named Joe Castle, who's still involved there, and it's a great product. You should check them out. I think it's socialdealer.com. And he was not there, but his partner was there, and another partner was on the phone. And so we sat down, and it was a startup. We had, I think, 12 employees. And he says to me, "Hey, Carl, come on in. We're making some changes. I have to let you go today." And I said, first thing out of my mouth, I said, "You're joking, right? You're joking. It's April Fool's. Keep in mind, it's April Fool's." He said, "No, I'm serious. That I wouldn't joke about this." And I said, "Oh, what's going on?" "We're restructuring. We're downsizing. Bop, 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 bop. We're letting go a bunch of the staff." Okay. I said, "Okay." And I thought for a minute, and as I was still in such shock, and I literally still thought it was a joke, I said to this gentleman, I go, "Who else is getting fired?" And we talked through some of those logistics. I go, I don't know what prompted me to think of this or say this. I said, "Could you not have just called me instead of making me get up, get shaved, the whole deal to fire me, drive all the way here, walk in the door, sit down, and you fire me? You lay me off." And no answer. And so I said, "Okay, what type of severance is there?" And he said, "There's none." And we negotiated on that, and I got a little something. But how does this connect to the lottery? I had brought a lot of people there. I had built a sales team. We had no salespeople other than one of the founders, who was a great guy and part of why I won the lottery here I'm about to tell you about. His name is Barry. He's going to be on an episode coming soon. So I left some of my staff there. They kept the salespeople. We got rid of a bunch of other staff and really leaned up. And I didn't blame them. I mean, things were going not the way they had planned. But the way it was done was just crappy, to be honest with you. So I went home and told my wife the story, and she just shook her head and said, "Unbelievable on April Fool's Day." So as is many times in my auto career, I rebounded quickly. And part of why I say in my thumbnail and in my title of this episode is I won the lottery. I met Barry Brodsky. I had known him a little bit, but I had never worked with him. And he is such a dear, dear friend, and we're partnering on some stuff. I met Shannon McIntosh, Jim Driscoll, Greg Sampson came to work for us. Mark Fishman, an amazing designer. I hope to have him on the channel here at some point. He's an amazing illustrator, cartoonist. Unshavencomics.com is the name of his website. And those people that I have met, and still am in touch with some of them, certainly not the guy who fired me. If I saw him on the street, I don't know what would happen. But it was a learning. So why I won the lottery was that learning was priceless. And basically, part of the learning was get everything in writing. I mean, rock solid writing. When you take a job, especially at an executive level, get everything in writing. No handshakes. No, have your exit planned ahead. I mean, I'm not trying to be um, um, negative, uh, but just we got to learn from this stuff, right? So there was a priceless learning of anybody's expendable. Anybody can shift and turn on a dime, and you just got to be ready. You got to be resilient, and I'm grateful for that learning. In that, it's totally unprepared for it, but the guy who was our lead designer uh, helped me afterwards for many, many hours and helped me with my resume and tuned it up and made it modern looking and everything. Just a salt of the earth guy, Mark Fishman. Barry Brodsky, him and I, like I said, I was just with him on Friday having breakfast. That was Saturday morning, early breakfast. Introduced me to an amazing place. He lives now in Phoenix. Those relationships and that learning are more valuable than any lottery I could ever win, because I will never lose those learnings and those relationships, right? Money I can burn through, money to paying taxes, people will hound you for it. These relationships and these people are just something I will treasure forever. And that's why I won the lottery. So this is a little bit day after April Fool's, but if I put it on the day of April Fool's, no one would believe it because it was April Fool's. And the belief is I didn't win a monetary lottery. I won a life lottery, a life lessons lottery, a life relationships lottery. And a lot of those people, Mark's helped me on some website stuff, some design stuff. I mentioned the resume. He's just an amazing dude, a father of 4 now, I think. I mean, when I knew him, he didn't even have kids. So it's been that long since I've had that relationship. Barry, just a great guy from Chicago, and can't wait to share his story of starting a business, getting taken advantage of, starting another business, getting taken advantage, starting a third one, getting I would say a generous payout and reward for his hard work. And he's a father of 5, and he's still just rocking it. So again, I'm not going to ruin his story or share his story or tell his story now, because I want him to share it, but he just connected to so many different people. So yeah, I did win the lottery. So you probably have maybe not as many relationships as came out of that one for me. And you may not have all the lessons, the hard lessons, getting fired, in the peak of your career. But you've got things to be grateful for. I mentioned in my last episode about being grateful. These life lessons are literally more valuable than money. These life relationships, these life learnings, as I said, and it just take account of that. When you wake up in the morning, and part of my morning routine, as I think I've mentioned on here, is I read some powerful words from Scripture. I try to get on the treadmill and do some exercise just before the day even begins. But I'm grateful because I'm able to get up. I'm able to get out of bed. I've got these relationships that are priceless. I've got these learnings that, as long as I don't keep doing them again or keep stumbling and the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over, much more valuable than the lottery. So I hope that encourages some of you to take inventory of your relationships, your learnings, your situation. Even if you're in a toxic, terrible relationship or job or place in life, it will get better. And you're not underground. God's not finished with you yet. I was having a great conversation, multiple conversations with Stan Winhorn, our co-host on the channel. And we're just talking about how a couple weeks ago he was a little down in the dumps and a little bit in a valley. And the last couple of days, man, he's just been on fire with ideas and projects and energy. And I'm like, where did that come from? He's like, I don't know, but I got to keep going. So he keeps calling me every few minutes. I got another one. I got another one. And he got the, that's another relationship that kind of indirectly came out of that firing. And there's so many other things, because the jobs that came after that have led to some really, really powerful and dear relationships. So even on a terrible firing, when you walk in and it's unexpected on April Fool's Day, which, again, please, if you're an employer or a boss or an owner, don't ever fire somebody on April Fool's Day. That's just mean. That's like firing them on the day before Thanksgiving or Christmas Eve or New Year's. Just don't do it. This is not good. Do it the day before, the day after, something. I know money's tight in a lot of situations and things befall a company or a bank account or fraud or whatever. Just don't do it. It just sticks in people's brains. It's going to hurt no matter what day you do it, but don't do it on those days. And April Fool's, terrible, terrible, terrible for the man who did it, who who you are. And hopefully you don't do it again. Anyway, looking forward to seeing you soon. Again, I hope you got some encouragement, tiny bit of education. I don't know if this one was very entertaining. It was for me to tell this story. And we'll see you back here soon. Please, again, like, share, follow our channel. Big, big milestone today. You take a little sip of water for this one. And you might laugh. That's not an April Fool's joke. We just hit 20 subscribers. Woohoo! Big news. That's big, right? You got to start somewhere. And back to one of the comments from one of our other guests, just start. If you have an idea for a book or a blog or a vlog or a podcast or a business or a piece of artwork or a new hobby, just start. Even if you fail tomorrow. One of our guests, it's funny, he was on Dave Marino, who's I just subscribed to his channel. So look him up, Dave Marino. He's out in California, amazing entrepreneur. He said he works with a very, very successful trainer, a physical trainer, a young guy who's a friend of his son's. And this was profound, and I hope to get this young man on the channel as well. He said, don't let a 1 become a 2. I was like, oh, 1. Because if you miss a day of working out or a day of studying or a day of training or a day of hugging your family or calling your parents or whatever it may be, just don't let it become 2 days. If you never do that, you're never going to be a failure, right? You may have a day in between all these things, but if that habit or practice or hobby was done half the year, right? That's 180 days ish that you did something, as opposed to right now, you're maybe doing nothing, right? So begin, be grateful, be happy, be kind. All these principles that are super, super basic, but have been shared by a lot of our guests, are profound. Don't let a 1 become a 2, and just start. Just begin. It'll get better and better as time goes on. And hopefully what you're seeing is some of this stuff. I don't know if these single conversations of content, me just talking at you, are super going to go viral or anything of that nature. But you got to post as frequently as you can. And if you can't get a guest and I can't get a co-host on, or you just got to, what'd you learn today, right? How can I educate you in something from my life or my family's life or my job situation or any of those things? So yeah, April Fools, don't fire anybody, but I won the lottery. So thanks again for joining. We'll see you next time on What Drives You. Have a good night.